Hello, today we have Paul Mann, CEO of ASP Isotopes, trading on the Nasdaq under the ticker ASPI. Paul, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Great to be back.
For viewers unfamiliar with ASP Isotopes, Paul, please let us start with a brief overview of your company and what makes it unique in the global market for critical isotopes.
Yeah, so ASP Isotopes is the company that has built 3 manufacturing plants in South Africa to produce stable isotopes that can go into many different industries, including advanced semiconductors for quantum computing and artificial intelligence, can go into nuclear medicine, and also into the nuclear fuel supply chain as well. And this industry has had significant supply side challenges during the last several decades. It's particularly challenged right now. And so our goal is to solve a lot of these supply chain problems to enable many of the technologies of the future.
Now, Paul, ASP Isotopes recently has entered into a term sheet with Terra Power for the construction of a HALEU production facility. Can you elaborate on the big strategic importance of this partnership?
Yeah, thanks. So we actually signed 2 term sheets recently, one with Terra Power and one with Nexa, the South African Nuclear Energy Corporation. And both were actually critical because these agreements will allow us to construct a nuclear fuel plant in South Africa to supply the world with much needed nuclear fuel for next generation nuclear reactors. There's a huge growing need for more electricity and more energy in the world. And it's believed that the only real way to supply this energy is from small modular nuclear reactors that are the next generation of nuclear reactors. And all these nuclear reactors are reliant upon a particular type of fuel called high SA, low enriched uranium. And there is no Western producer of commercial quantities of that fuel. So the term sheet or the agreement with Terra Power combined with the agreement with Nexa will allow us to build a factory and supply this fuel for the world.
Paul, construction of your ytterbium-176 enrichment facility was completed significantly ahead of schedule. Now, how does this achievement set the stage for ASP Isotopes to meet the increasing demand for lutetium-177, especially considering its importance in oncology treatments?
Yeah, so there's a new range of oncology treatments coming out, radiotherapeutics that require radioisotopes as an active ingredient. And so, for example, Novartis's Pluvicto requires lutetium-177, and this lutetium-177 is generally produced from ytterbium-176. Now, there's a huge shortage of ytterbium-176. If you look back at the Pluvicto clinical trials, 5% of patients died because they couldn't make the drug. They couldn't get the active ingredient of the drug. There's been many articles and press news stories recently of these shortages of medical isotopes. So we've constructed a ytterbium-176 plant here in South Africa. It's our first plant that uses lasers or quantum enrichment to provide the enrichment. And we're just in the commissioning stage right now. The commissioning is going really well. And we'd expect to have samples and commercial agreements with customers during the first half of the year. As I say, we've got a lot of interest from this isotope from both drug companies as well as radiopharmacies around the world.
ASP Isotopes is now accelerating the construction of enrichment plants for nickel-64 and lithium-6 and 7. What are the expected timelines for commercial production of these isotopes, and what kind of market opportunities do they present?
Yeah, so our ytterbium-176 plant took 8 months to construct. Most of that was in the procurement. We've just received the permission from the South African government to build these plants in South Africa. So we started the procurement of the equipment for these plants. And so, we'd hope to have these plants up and running by the end of 2025. There's an urgent need for all 3 isotopes. Nickel-64 is currently used to make copper-64. The only supplier of nickel-64 in the marketplace is Rosatom, which is the Russian Nuclear Energy Agency. There's a shortage of it. And lutetium-6 and lutetium-7 are both used in the nuclear fuel supply chain. And so we've got a lot of interest in all 3 isotopes from customers. And so the commercial opportunity could be quite significant.
Paul, one of the things that is most attractive about ASP Isotopes is the far-reaching applications that your technology appears to have across, for example, nuclear medicine, semiconductors, green energy. Now, looking forward, which sectors do you believe will be the primary drivers of growth for ASP Isotopes?
Yeah, so as you said, there's many different end markets for isotopes, and the largest opportunity by a significant margin is clearly the nuclear fuel supply chain in terms of high assay low enriched uranium. The two customers we're talking to there collectively need about $37 billion of HALEU over the next sort of 15 years or so. So clearly, the size of that market dwarfs everything else. But many of the medical isotopes and the electronic isotopes could easily be in the tens to hundreds of millions of dollars each over the next sort of 5-10 years. So, so some of them are pretty significant commercial opportunities.
Now, Paul, here's your chance to look beyond me and speak directly to the investor. Why should investors take an interest in ASP Isotopes right now?
Well, ASP Isotopes is we set it up to solve a number of the supply chain problems, enable many of tomorrow's technologies, such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing, nuclear fuels, and nuclear medicine. And we spent the last 3 years building 3 manufacturing facilities in South Africa. All 3 are in the process of starting up right now. It's a very exciting time for the company. And, we look forward to building many more plants in the future. And if we can get these plants up and running in a timely fashion, we should generate substantial returns for our shareholders.
Paul, thanks again for telling us your great story.
Thank you for your interest.